Today's topic, we're going to discuss about how preparation is the number one key to success. And more often than not, when it comes to your projects or your ideas, it has nothing to do with you being ready or not, but it has everything to do with you not being prepared. We'll discuss about that. Okay, so first let me say a quick thank you to any returning viewers. I appreciate you more than you know, and so for that, merci beaucoup. And for the new viewers, let me introduce myself very quickly. My name is Alistair Nzekio. I am an entrepreneur and a fitness professional, and this channel is all about fitness, nutrition, and mindset for the benefit of you. Okay, so that being said, let's go. If you want to be successful, you need to be prepared. And the first step to that preparation is a business plan. We don't have to go into the semantics of it. It doesn't have to be a mission statement, but there needs to be some sort of schematics. There needs to be some sort of framework to this pseudo business plan. You're going to take a pen and paper. You're going to write down the top of the pen and paper, why. Whatever that goal is, write down why. Why do you want that goal? Why do you need that goal? Okay, it doesn't have to be very specific. Just write down why in your hearts of hearts. Why do you want to be a CEO? Why do you want a better surfing board? Why do you just write down why? Underneath the why, I want you to write down any ideas that come to your mind, anything that comes to your head, any possible ideas that come to your head that's related to the why. And then you'll see a lot of the times that question is derived or stemmed from 3 points, right? It could be a problem that you're facing, it could be a point of interest, a point of passion, or it could be a situation related to your work environment. Regardless, you need a why, and you need ideas that supports that why. That is step one. I give you an example. Before I started my personal journey, before I started my company, ANFtraining.com, before I got into fitness, I was actually, believe it or not, I was in the medical industry. I was a lab tech, and I worked there for quite a few years. And long story short, I left it, and I went and I worked as a personal trainer. Long story short, I wasn't super happy with what I saw. I came in with different mindset in terms of the scientific method. I think a lot of people in science can understand what I'm talking about, right? The way we think is very methodological. Sorry, English. And so I wasn't really used to an environment that didn't really quite have a lot of rigid or strict structures, a lot of how would you say that? A lot of supervision. It was kind of like, yeah, sure, do whatever you want. Sure, why not? And so I wasn't really used to that. And so there was a big learning curve when I went into this industry. But there was one problem that I noticed. And that problem is that, first of all, personal training is expensive. Everybody wants to do it. Everybody wants to get that professional help, of course, but it's expensive. And so you see a lot of people who train a few times a week, but once they go home, they lose that sense of consistency because the trainer is no longer there. And so that was a huge problem. And actually, it's still a problem today. It's still a problem in the industry today. Is that how do you transfer that consistency that you have with a trainer? How do you transfer that lifestyle changes at home? And so one of my solutions that I did is I invented a homework system. I implemented it when I was at a gym there. I was very successful there at that gym. And, it's not perfect. The goal here is not to make it perfect, but what it did is it created a situation where people were noticeably were able to stick and adhere to their lifestyle changes, and that's what made me different, and that's what put me a little bit ahead of the pack, right? And that's important. The second point is you want to do market research. You want to understand, if the why fits. You want to understand if people even care about the why, right? If your question is why the sky red, I don't think a lot of people care very that much about why the sky is red, right? So you want to do market research, and with market research, it involves you asking questions. You have to go out there and ask the question. You have to go and ask the question why, and then write down the answer. You have to see if people are responding to this. And you have to see who else is doing it, right? You have to go and pinpoint anybody in the industry you're looking for, anybody really that's associated with your question, and see how are they doing? How are they implementing this? How are they solving this problem? Are they solving this problem? Are they doing a good job about it? You know, you have to see how and understand a little bit what other people of your peers are doing. And that's important because you could take a little bit here and there, turn it to your own, and then maybe find a better solution. And I'll tell you a personal experience, of course, of mine. I'm going to build up on the concept really of ENF training, which is a fitness fit to fit your way of life. So what I did is I interviewed every trainer. At the time, I took a pen and paper and I interviewed every single trainer, and they were all very different. And I asked them a lot of questions. One of the questions that I asked was, how do you get clients, and do you follow up after them? What happens if they can't renew? What happens if they can't train anymore? What do you do if they train for 2 years and then stop? What happens to their training? Like, how do you do this? How do you do that? I asked a lot of questions to the point that people were like, shut up, like stop asking questions, you know? But I needed to understand the full spectrum of what I was dealing with. It was a new industry I was entering, and there were things I didn't quite understand or liked, and I needed to get a very clear picture as to where I'm stepping into. And in addition to asking the trainers, I asked my clients. I asked them, I was like, what would you feel like? How would you feel like if this happened? How would you feel like if I did this? And then I even went one step further and I asked strangers. But it's important that you understand one thing though, because people can get lost in the market research and freeze. You could do so much market research and not move, or lose interest, or lose passion, or get discouraged, you know? So it's important that you understand, you give yourself a time frame to the market research, because you don't want to be stuck in a forever researching. And so that's the third point, is that you don't want to freeze. You don't want to freeze so much in your research where nothing gets done. And so what do you do then? You give yourself a time frame. So I gave myself 1 week to interview all the trainers in the facility. I gave myself 1 day to interview my managers. I gave myself 2 days to interview my clients. And I gave myself 1 weekend to ask strangers. And, you know, I had my notepad and I took notes and I asked questions and I wrote it down, and I went home and I gave myself 1 day to analyze the data. And then from that, I was able to dictate that, yes, there was a problem. There was a big problem when it came to consistency outside of the gym for many people. Of course, later on, I found out that that's a problem in the whole fitness industry as a whole. But remember, I changed industry, so I didn't quite understand what I was getting myself into at the time. So I had a very small bubble. And from that bubble, it was like, yes, you know, there is a need here and there is a problem and I think I can solve it. And so in 2 weeks, I went ahead and I implemented my ideas. Then I went back to step 1 and looked at the ideas. And I implemented those that made sense based on my interviews. And I improved and I monitor and I tweaked the ones that were working and the ones that were not. Which leads me to the next point, is that after you do your market research and after you do that step forward, you have to monitor. You have to track and you have to monitor the progress. You have to follow up. You can't just have an implementation and not see how it's doing. And at the beginning, it was very difficult because a lot of people had different tastes, a lot of people had different style, a lot of people wanted hands-on, like call me every day and tell me what to eat. You know, and I was like, okay, no, we're not doing that, right? So there were a lot of people asking a lot. And mind you, this was done out of my spare time, right? So I was not being paid for that at the time as a trainer. But I looked at it in the long run, which is the more consistency a client is able to stick to, not only do they become a walking billboard, a walking advertisement, number 2, they're more likely to actually stick with you and renew because they're seeing some sort of results. And that's very important. And so my retention rate was very high and I saw a lot of success there. And eventually over the years, I took more data and I asked more questions and I made things a lot better to how it is today. I mean, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm still improving a lot of my homework system, but it is one of the many things that differentiates me in the industry. I'm not saying I'm like the best or amazing, but I am. No. I'm being an idiot. No. But listen, but it's allowed me and it's carved me a small little pie, and that pie is growing, and it's awesome. Now, how do you implement this strategy if you are in a workforce? If you're not looking to start a business, to start your own thing, you're just happy where you are, right? But how do you implement this strategy of being prepared equals success in your environment, your work environment? It's very simple. The concept stays the same, okay? And that concept is that why. But instead of it being like, why do you want to have a promotion? You're going to write down, why would the company offer you what you want? If you want a promotion, if you want to travel abroad, if you want a demotion, if you want to work from home, why would the company give this to you? That's the question that you need to answer. When it comes to the ideas, you write down the answer. You run out any possible answer. But you need to be very truthful and very honest. I work extra late. I come on time. I'm a high yielding producer and all that stuff. When it comes to market research, that's where you're going to find all the arguments that will support the ideas you put forth, right? So if you come on time, show the timesheet. If you're a high yielding producer, show the data. The market research for you at that point is all the points that will prove to the company why they need to give the X, Y, and Z. And then when it gets to don't freeze or don't spend too much time analyzing, that's exactly what it means. Don't spend too much time gathering so much information, because then you kind of just look like an ass, right? Pick the top 3 major points that support your argument. And then that's it. Leave it there and move forward. Because you could be there collecting evidence, and then time passes and you might lose an opportunity, right? And then of course the last point is monitor the progress and follow up. You need to follow up. You need to put pressure. If you are justified, you need to put pressure. If pressure is not working, you have one trump card that you can use, and that is go get another offer. Know your worth. If you feel like this is really not your worth, you go out there and you get your worth. And then you come back and you tell them, this is what I need, and here's the results why I deserve this. And here's the offer that somebody else sees my worth. What are you going to do? And that's how you implement preparedness into success. Not only when it comes to business, but also when it comes to your personal work situation environment. After seeing all this, there's a lot of people out there who have many ideas, and they feel like, there's always someone else out there who's doing it better than them, right? It's like, I want to be a personal trainer, but there's so many personal trainers, I'm not going to do a good job, or like, I want to start a business in knitting. Oh, but what do you call the wire? The wool. There you go. The wool is so expensive and nobody buys knitted clothes anyway. I'm not going to make any money. Those people they're going to fail right off the start. Because if everybody's starting to think to themselves that they can't do something because somebody else is doing it, then nothing will be done. There'll be no innovation. The whole point of you doing something, the whole point of you being successful in whatever you want to do, is to do it your way. Just like fitness. It's fitness fit to fit your world life. That's my take. And I made it work. You could do the same. Follow your ideas, follow your dream, follow whatever passion you want, and work at it. Because if you think you're just going to throw the ball in the market and people are going to eat it up and sleep with it, you're mistaken. You have to work. There's no such thing as like, oh my God, this is the holy grail. I'll do this and everybody's going to jump on it. No, it's constant work. Do you remember the other point I mentioned? We have to monitor your progress, and then you have to follow up. That never ends. You have to constantly monitor. You have to constantly follow up. I do that. That's why I'm here. on YouTube. I'm being an idiot. I'm being an idiot. But anyway, so that's the moral of my little segment here. One of the main things when it comes to success is you have to be prepared, and don't shy away from it, because the more preparation you have, the more confidence you're gonna have, and the more out there you are, and the better you're gonna know your business, and the better you're gonna know your craft, and the better you're gonna know what you're gonna do or say, and the more you understand the market, the better things are going to be, the more stable you're going to be, the more secure you're going to be, and you're not gonna feel as threatened, and you're gonna feel a lot more confident, and you're going to see that confidence spill into other aspects of your lives. It's going to feel amazing. All right, I'm done talking. As usual, I appreciate everybody that watched this. I love doing this. I love doing this videos in general. I'm enjoying YouTube a lot. You know, I am a millennial on the upper end, on the early 80s side, right? So technology, I can handle the technology, you know, but it's not, I'm not a TikToker, I'm not a Snapchatter, you know. Anyway, I'm ranting so much. So look, guys, I appreciate you more than you know. What was I gonna say? Well, I appreciate you more than you know. As usual, right? Don't be afraid to go and check out ANFplus.com. This is my coaching services where I help people like you. I help some professionals. I help not CEOs yet, but I help some people that have respectable jobs. You know, they take advice from me, and I help them. And so ANFplus.com is my coaching services, and go ahead and check that out, and maybe we can help one another. And then if you are into fitness, ANFtraining.com. All right, so thanks. See you next time. ANFplus.com. Bye.